All right, we're back once again. If you're just joining us, I am here speaking with Mr. Brian K. Hemphill, author of the book, The Element of Creative and Expressive. Did I say the element? The elements with an S of creative and expressive artistry. Brian, where did we just leave off on?
Yeah, we were starting to expand about spontaneity.
Okay, spontaneity.
Yeah.
Now, take it away.
Yeah, spontaneity is really one of the most important of the elements, because spontaneity means, as I was saying, to express yourself in the moment, regardless of feeling, regardless of how you may feel. So you don't feel self-conscious. You're not feeling like, oh, I'm exposing too much of myself. You're just, wherever you're at in that moment, that's what you're willing to express.
Okay.
The beauty of spontaneity is if a person can reach that level of artistry, it expresses form, it expresses technique, it expresses spirituality. I mean, it expresses all the other elements there in that moment. So,
okay.
I mean, if you can reach that level, you'll be the complete artist. And for me, I think that's a lifetime of striving. I mean, it's really worthwhile.
So is that something that you have to work on, or that's something that comes naturally?
Well, some people are good at being spontaneous, but they may lack the discipline to learn technique, for example.
I see.
So even though their work may seem fluid, it's still lacking in form. The composition may not be just right on.
Okay.
Some other people, they may be great technicians. I mean, they have great perception, but they're afraid to let loose.
I see.
And that's the other dilemma. The balanced artist learns all of the groundwork. They learn about form, about technique, about composition, how to express their emotions. But then they also learn how to let loose. That it's okay from moment to moment just to kind of let yourself go.
Okay.
And that can be a lifelong pursuit. A great way to that is, if you're an artist, is to do improvisational exercises.
Okay, and what is that?
So, for example, as a singer, that might be able just to get on a mic and just making whatever comes in your mind, whatever emotions comes, just spitting it out and not trying to control and say, oh, that sounds ugly.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Play with it. In fact, when you watch kids play, that's a great model for improvisation, because they're so lost in their own world that they make up stuff and you go, wow. I mean, you're watching them, you're like, wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
But as adults, we sort of cut ourselves off from that. So that's where I would start.
Because as a singer, I notice, for me personally, when I'm rehearsing, I tend to give my all.
Okay.
But once I get before the audience and the microphone, the only way I can actually give my all is to not look at the audience. Is to sing and perform with my eyes closed.
Okay.
Is that a good thing, or is that a bad thing?
Well, I'm not going to say good and bad, but certainly when you're performing, looking at the audience is sort of good, even if you're not really seeing them, the appearance of looking at the audience. But I understand exactly what you mean. I mean, what enters in that situation is when we're by ourselves. I mean, there's nobody judging us.
I know, right?
We can let loose. But then once we add that first person to it, and then you add 100 other people to it, or 1,000 people to it, then tension builds up, because you're like, oh, what are they going to think? Are they going to like it? All of those things come into our thinking, and it really does start to shut us down. The artists that get beyond it and they don't really care. Okay. That's how you really
don't
have
care
to
whether or not they mess up.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to give my all, and that's it. You're going to like it or you're not going to like it. It's okay, but this is me. I mean, that's the level of reach.
I wish I was one of those.
Oh, you'll get I mean, look, we all come with gifts in terms of what elements we express. There are inclinations that we have. There are some people that love form, so they make some of the most imaginative. You go, wow. And they, as a singer, they can sing blues, jazz, country. Everything. Yeah. I mean, some people just have that natural ability, but they may be lacking other things. So whatever gifts we have, we just have to look at them as blessings and then say, how can I increase those elements that I don't really feel comfortable with? Okay. All right. And that's really, so that's always an ongoing process. I don't care. Nobody comes and has learned it all. Well, you know what I'm saying? At that point, you may as well just get a shovel and kind of dig the grave.
I know, right?
But even beyond just looking at these 9 root elements, what I discovered in this research is that these root elements branch off into other things.
Okay.
And that's where you have a lot of avenues, opportunities to explore aspects that you never considered. So, for example, we were talking about spirituality, which is probably right.
Let's hear what can you share with us regarding the different branches of spirituality.
Right. So we have the root element, which is spirituality, but it breaks down into things called, we talked about the call, the urging to become an artist of some sort. You know, you just have, you may be 4 years old, you say, you know what, you see singing, that's what I want to be.
Right.
I want to be a singer. You just know it. Or you see an action role. I mean, in fact, when I was 4 years old, the call came to me at 4. I saw something, it was like a Twilight Zone type of story. And it was something about a worm, about this parasite crawling into one eardrum like a worm and burrowing its way through the brain to get out to the other ear.
Oh, gross.
You know, yeah, it's kind of gross. And the man, and he said, this is going to be torturous and the worst pain you've ever endured. And he straps himself down and endures the pain. And then the man puts the, I think it's called an otoscope or whatever, but puts that thing in his ear to kind of look, see, you know, how the condition of the ear is. And he says, oh, wow. He says, you know what? This worm dropped a larvae of eggs in your ear, and you're going to go through the even more excruciating because there's a lot more of these worms that have to burrow to the other side. Yeah. So, but that was so impactful to me at 4 years old. I had an earache during that time, so I kind of knew the pain.
So you thought it was the same thing occurring to you?
Well, I didn't think, but my imagination was going. I said, you know what? That's what I want to be, a storyteller. And a storyteller in the old tradition is just tell stories, but it's, if you think about the griot or you think about the medicine man, I mean, these are the people that kept the traditions and the culture of a particular society alive.
Right.
These are the people that would have that knowledge that they would pass along. And a lot of times it was done in stories and plays and things like that, drama, you know, dance. And so I'm a storyteller in that tradition.
Okay.
But just to kind of cut to the chase, I just tell people, oh yeah, a teacher. That way, because they can understand it.
Right.
You know. But if you look at something like spirituality, I mean, you know, the call may come at 4 years old. To some people, it may come when they're 60 years old. I mean, you had a person like Grandma Moses, who became a painter late in life, you know? So it doesn't matter when it's come.
Right.
But when it comes, it's that urging to do something that's artistic, that's going to be expressive of who you are. To almost like leave a legacy so that people know who you were, the essence of who you were.
Right.
Another branch element of spirituality would be vision.
Okay.
In order to create anything that has any real worth or note, you have to be able to see it in your mind's eye, visualize it. And vision can come full force where you see all the elements of the vision and they just fall right into place. Other times it's like a vague picture, you know, kind of fuzzy.
And then you have to go through and put all the pieces
together. You have to work towards it. And as you work towards each piece, it becomes more clarified. And then by the end, you say, "Oh, that's it. That's what I, you know."
Like a jigsaw puzzle.
A jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah,
so that's.
okay.
But if you want to be an artist of any note, you really have to be able to have vision. Without vision, then you're just kind of creating art that doesn't have a roadmap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Next is passion. And we talked about passion. And that's the commitment.
That's a very important one. If you don't have passion, then I don't think you can move forward with even, you know, fulfilling any dreams that you may have. Right?
That's right. And it's on two levels. And I'm glad that you said it, because it's not just the passion to express your vision and be committed. Because passion, people think, is emotions. Passion is really your commitment to something. And if you have deep passion, that means that you'll go to the ends of the earth to express that vision.
Okay.
All right. The other part of passion is what you're saying is that even if it's going to become difficult, this is a lifestyle that you're going committed to.
Okay.
Pursuing.
Yes.
And you know, it's not just going to be good times. You know, most of us as artists, we're not just going to become famous. You know what I'm saying?
But
it's a labor of love.
Yeah, a labor of love. That's the right word.
It's a labor of love, and that's passion.
Yes.
Beyond passion, it's great if we have inspiration. And inspiration is, once we're inspired, it seems like everything just flows out of us.
Yes.
But the beauty of it is that when people see your work, they become inspired.
Yes.
And they're like, thank you so much, because they realize what you gave to them. You gave them something that spurred them on, spurred their imagination, opened them up spiritually, and makes it possible to even endure life, especially someone who's going through, let's say, a problem, a real serious, life problem like we all go through.
Right.
And then they hear a song that you've done. They say, you touched my heart. I mean, that's a gift that you've given. Inspiration is probably the highest gift you can give another human being.
Right.
Then you have artistic faith, knowing that even when you're not sure, that you're going to hang in there so that you can express your vision.
Okay.
So all of those are aspects of spirituality. For
All
example.
right, great. Thank you, Brian. We're gonna get into our final segment right after this break. You're in tune to the Ensound Radio Network. Of